So there is a college near NCR region, which was not quite popular, and but when we actually started going there, we started getting 4 to 5 hires. Now we it's that college features in our regular list of hires. Like Arsh, I think I am announcing this first on your platform. So Adobe Career Academy and is coming specifically for tier 2, 3 colleges. So if your college want to make an entry. Last year, Adobe hired more than 300 grads for from universities, and number of application count is 1,27,000. So even manually sending decline mail for me alone is not possible. Many times we don't get a clear feedback from interviewers, and why you are selecting a person, why you are rejecting a person.
Hi everyone, this is Arsh Goyal. Today I have with me a very special guest. He's University Relations and Employer Branding Specialist at Adobe. And we'll talk with him regarding all the discussions that we have related to hiring, related to recruitment, related to all the questions that you have in mind related to HR interviews. So this is going to be an extensive video where all your doubts related to what you want to ask from your very own recruiters will be cleared. So starting this video with a very brief introduction of Ajit.
Thanks a lot, Harsh. Hello, everyone. This is Ajit. About me, I joined, coincidentally, I also joined Adobe as a university graduate. It was back in 2016. I just graduated from XLRI. And people find it very ironic, but HR was not my first preference. But I came to Adobe and I stayed with Adobe. It was not planned. I worked in different teams as part of the employee experience. We had a rotational program. So first 3 months I worked with legal team. Then for next 3 months I worked with a consultant team, and then finally I came to university team where I stayed for next 4 years. So and I had a great time in university team. So it was a really great journey.
Before moving ahead with this video, I would like to talk about Cryo.do. Cryo.do is India's largest work experience-based learning program for developers, in which you will see some amazing skills that you can develop through their programs. They have different programs that are available with them. That is full stack developer program and backend developer program, in which you will learn different skills like React, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, MERN. Along with that, different other micro skilling exercises and workshops is what you will be getting. Along with that, they have their backend developer program, in which you will be learning Java, Spring Boot, REST API, MongoDB, caching, and along with that, different other career services like profile review and a lot more. Along with that, they are giving you a 1 week free trial in which you can check if this is something that you're looking forward to prepare for your projects in your resume. So this can be a great opportunity. If you like this for 1 week, then you can continue. If you don't like, then you can discontinue. Also, they have their fellowship program in software engineering, software development. This is a 9 months duration program. Again, it's free for 1 week. You can check out if it is good to you. You're learning DSLGO, system design curriculum, externships with real tech companies, project-led MERN or backend specialization, and guaranteed placement in top dev roles is what they're offering. So do check out. They have different companies hiring through them like Amazon, Microsoft, Accenture, Navi, JustPay, Zoho, Paytm, and a lot more. And the best thing is, like, I'm giving you a link in the description below, in which you will be getting some gifts from my end. These gifts include best guide to resume, best guide to mini projects, free guide to product based interviews, and if you are planning to purchase anything from Cryo.do, you will be getting an extra 10% off on their website. Great. So I'm super excited for this particular session because I do have these questions in mind from quite some time that today we are going to clear from you. So the first thing that comes to my mind is like the task that you're doing. The job of somebody who is getting people into an organization is very challenging. So like, what according to you, like, what are the challenges you face in your day-to-day job as a recruiter? Because from students perspective, we don't see those challenges, but there might be a lot. So would just like to understand them so that we can go ahead.
Okay. So yeah. So I always, so most of my friends are from software development background. So we always used to have fun, and you can guess kind of heated conversation we used to have. But as a recruiter, I think most challenging part is to manage business, because business has certain expectations, because in the end they are hiring someone they would have to work with, so they have some expectations. uh, and one thing about business is that they don't care about what is going in the market. As you know, market may be very hard, can be very hard to find,
Yeah.
but their standards are set back to 2000s, so they are expecting the same kind of talent to walk in as it is currently in the organization. They would not compromise. So I think to balance that, to get them the best talent, recruiters generally have to look for a lot of resumes, have to schedule a lot of interviews, and as the role is becomes difficult to hire, their challenge keeps on increasing. So there are certain roles where like which are open for 4 months, and there has been like 50 to 60 interviews already done, but business is not able to find anyone good. uh, and I will come back to this later, because this is also a question from many folks, that why HR don't respond. Is many, like out of 80% of time is that business don't respond to us.
Yeah.
So we can't respond to anything to you, we can't say yes to you, we can't say no to you. Although I generally make a practice of communicating a lot, even if my results are not clear. Even on, if it is in on LinkedIn, but sometimes it's not possible to share anything because there's no follow up from our side.
Yeah, this is something that we come across every time. Like people have this notion in mind ki recruiters says that they'll get back to you, but that getting back is sometimes they miss out, or they just don't come up with a rejection mail. So students, what, like from like my audience is basically college students who are freshers or who are maybe recent graduates looking out for internships and placements. So the major problem that they face is they say that they don't get proper feedback from the interviewer, or they don't get proper feedback from the company. They don't get rejection mails. So like we'll talk about this also like further in the video, but this is something that
I also have one request for them. Probably, like I said, many times we don't get a clear feedback from interviewers, and why you are selecting a person, why you are rejecting a person, it becomes very person to person specific. And what I am very huge supporter of is to use a technology for communicating, and use more technology in HR. And within Adobe, we are working with software developers in HR also. And if you really find it a issue, whenever you join any organization, work with HR teams. We need software developers. Nobody is willing to work to solve the issue. I would not say nobody, because we got some of the very interested folks to solve the issue for us. But without the technology involvement, a single recruiter or somebody, they would have to ignore. It's not humanly possible, because kind of volumes that we get, like you said, we are talking about universities, and I will just give you one data. Last year, Adobe hired more than 300 grads from universities. And number of application count, because I am a data person, I keep count of these things, is 1,27,000. So even manually sending decline mail for me alone is not possible. You will have to help me. You will have to give me that tech. And tech wise, HR is like in biblical ages. So we need some good tech to give the good experience.
Definitely, I totally understand. Like if 1,27,000 is a very huge number, and shortlisting and finally getting the offer to 300 is a very, very big task, I would say, so this is what you face in basically recruitment of university hiring and people who are into interns, because they try out every possible thing. Was like they just get back, they just apply for each and everything that they get into their path. So that's the major reason. So like we're talking about fresher hiring only. So what according to you, like from your point of view, like you had 1,27,000 for one particular application. So what would you say is the biggest mistake that people make while applying or while their application process, that they're not shortlisted further, or they don't receive those test links for the further process? So what would be your take on the bigger mistakes that people make?
Okay, so there are different ways, like Arsh, like in India, majority of hiring happens through university. So this is the part we even have to explain to our US counterparts, because there's nothing called university placements. So they
Mm-hmm.
have people have to apply individually. Here we have to maintain relationships with 20 colleges, and we have to allocate particular number of positions to them 1 year in advance, because if we don't do that, they will not give us slots next year.
Mm-hmm.
So there are some things where your resume can't help, because if we are like not coming to your college, or if you are not under that particular criteria, then resume can't help. But
Mm-hmm.
it's not end of the like game. This is only one way of getting into any organization. There are a number of things that's happening currently. First of all, to like start following the careers page, start talking to recruiters. And again, I said like recruiter is not a one term. I know that many you must have tried this again and again, and I have seen that recruiters LinkedIn inbox is like it's jam
Mm-hmm.
packed, and again responding to every conversation is not possible for anyone. So I generally make a habit during the COVID. We group of college students. So at XLRI we had a like huge community of people who are in
Mm-hmm.
good positions at different organizations. So we started a initiative where we started helping people to pass on their resumes. So I made a habit at that point of time to respond to some queries. Maybe someone is in serious need, but
Mm-hmm.
even then, like I use it one day and then it becomes not possible. Some of the mail threads I get ignore. So
Mm-hmm.
first thing I would recommend is to get to know from your seniors, from your super seniors, what are the ways a organization hire from. So maybe Adobe is not coming to your college, but maybe there's an off-campus event where your placement teams can reach out to the organization, ask them to make a entry there as an off-campus event. So like I would say that we are about to launch Adobe Emerge, and I have seen your post also, Arsh, like many tier 2, 3 colleges can work on branding.
Mm-hmm.
I am totally support of that. Initially, we were not going at those institutes. We started slow with the off-campus event, and then slowly the relationship started building. One of
Mm-hmm.
the things that you can also do, and this you have to think from the long-term perspective. This is not for students, because as a student we think about me, my batch. That's it. Placement officers can also think about increasing the quality of the students. If I'm doing an assessment test and out of 200 people, only one is qualifying that test,
Mm-hmm.
then
It's no.
initial impression becomes wrong. And I would not say it's a last impression, but then probably you'll have to work a lot next year. While on the other hand, if 10 of your students, so there is a college near NCR region, which was not quite popular, and even I haven't heard of the name of that college. But when we actually started going there, we started getting 4 to 5 hires from that college, and
Mm-hmm.
which is a good number. So now we it's that college features in our regular list of hires. It's a long effort, but you'll have to do some research and try for the events, making entry into those events. So and now like Arsh, I think I am announcing this first on your platform. So Adobe Career Academy and is coming specifically for tier 2, 3 colleges. So if your college want to make an entry, this is the first year. In US, Adobe Career Academy is more focused towards not Ivy Leagues, and we are bringing the same concept to India. So
Great.
and that's for second year students. So you can just get into that and get your journey started even in the second year, and Adobe will take you through the internship and final placement, so that you by the time you graduate you will have your job and internship with Adobe. So there are ways, and organizations are also thinking about you, is that we have some limitations. Even if we do X number of things, Y number of people are going to be
That's.
deprived of that, because we are very small to make any impact.
Mm-hmm.
But we are doing our part, and lot in our teams are thinking about people who are not from those institutes where companies generally visit. We are thinking about those colleges in the hinterlands where companies are not visiting, where people are not thinking about tier one product based companies. We want to take this concept, pitch ourselves to them, and uh, uh, maybe take a couple of them. And we are also launching a concept called open houses, where we are trying to bring people from academics, IITs, and triple ITs, and connect them with the folks in tier 2, 3 towns with Adobe, and make sure you attend those sessions, because that something is coming, and you'll have to work for that. It's a patient man game. Keep working on your technical skills, and keep a lookout for these events, and then get into that. You just need one chance. So like I tell a lot of candidates, if Adobe is really your dream job, you are going to get it. So I had way higher dream when I joined Adobe, and I was not sure how to get there. So, but I got there. So getting into Adobe is not tough. If Adobe or any other company or any similar company is your dream, just be patient, and keep your preparations and ready. Keep a lookout for opportunities. You will definitely get the opportunity.
Great. I was like, you talked about the post. So what happened is, like, I being connecting with people and lot of training and placement officers. So this video might be a lot of training and placement people would be seeing. So they would also get to know about the career academy that Ajit recently talked about. Also, like, I would like to add upon something. Like, let's say I am going to some, like, I have gone to multiple tier 3 colleges, tier 2 colleges for sessions or so. So what I have seen there is everything is okay. Students are talented, like they know the things how to do. They are very good at their CGPAs, but they are actually not able to apply for different opportunities. Like they're not aware of things ki how to proceed. Like they have set a benchmark for their college, like this is the best and we can't go above and beyond this. So that mindset is basically what hinders them from progressing. And ultimately they think of ki our college is made up for this and will not go beyond this. So that's something that these career programs or these kind of initiatives would break in some capacity, I would say, no?
And this is a great Arsh, and I will still say engineering students are still getting something, like they are getting at least a good speaker like you or visitor like you. There are the other universities, like I graduated from Rajasthan University, and I'm not exaggerating, but in whole 3 years we got only like maybe 3 classes overall. There were professors who were not coming, and then I reached to another side of extreme, which was XLRI. When I was in the Rajasthan universities, most of my friends were basically preparing for second grade teacher, or some good ones were preparing for UPSC. So that's it. There was no clarity. And I did my graduation in biochemistry. I used to read a lot, so I wanted to be in Harvard, MITs of the world. So, but I was not sure how to reach there, because, like I said, with 3 classes in 3 years, and there's no online resources for a there's a lot of resources for engineers. There's
Yes, true.
powerful. There's no resources for someone if someone wants to be a biologist or virologist. There's nothing to guide them, at least in India. So it becomes very tricky for them to find the way. But if you are an engineering student, you have a lot of resources. So even if you are sitting somewhere in the corner and seeing this video, there is definitely very strong chance you would be in your dream company, because everything that you need, you have it. You just have to find it and use it. So I admire the value of education. I also have a very heated debate about tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. I think that that's immaterial. That's the fact that where you are, it's the fact. Not much you can change. It's like in the resume, if your CGPA is 9.5 or it's 5.9, you can't do much. It's done now. What you can do is definitely make it much better for yourself, and that you have to find, and you'll get a lot of resources. I think Ash may be guiding you a lot from all these years, so I would not say much about that, but you definitely have a lot to get prepared and be in any of your dream organization. And he said one good thing: dream big, because like when I did graduation, I was not sure how people get to US and how they get into MIT or Harvard, because I started Google to do Google search, and I was not able to find anything. I only heard about CAT during my final year. So that was my way out. To be very sure, I never planned CAT, but CAT was like a way out for me, and I took that. So and yeah, and that took me where it was supposed to take me. So
Great.
you have to take those chances that you get.
Great, Ajit. Coming upon to a very, very important part, like this 2 months internship thing, like people are just going to join that 2 months internship, and they are like kind of, I do get questions like, what should I prepare for that 2 months internship? Is there anything specific that I should prepare in these months before going on for that internship? What kind of project I will be getting? So generally what happens is companies don't tell like what project would be assigned to them.
Right.
Once they join the organization for 2 months, let's say 10-15 days, they learn that particular technology and they complete the project in some other time. Like I have been through this process only, so this I believe generally happens with all the organizations. So that 2 months period is very crucial for them, because first of all, they have had pressure of getting a pre-placement offer from that organization. Secondly, they might also side by side would want to prepare for the placement season, because that's just going to come as soon as they reach college after this internship. So that thing, like that confusion on how to get a PPO, what all things should they do in their internship to grab that PPO. So from your perspective, what can be the best thing, or how can they perform in their internship, or what things should they keep in mind in their internship so as to grab a pre-placement offer?
Yeah, great question, Arsh. Yeah, and I think with Adobe, I know that internship numbers have increased a lot, more than your university numbers. Again, one thing that people don't know is that interns are quite respected in any organizations, because they have interview process comes next in the matter of trust. Because if I would ask, I would rather go and interview someone, or I would hire someone who has worked with me for 2 months. I would have the intern join my team, because I have worked with him or her, and I'm confident about what they can do. So if you have got internship, you have already like got into the major source for hiring, which can be 60 to 70% of an organization's total headcount. So you are already there. You just have to like leap forward towards the last step. So I can mention a couple of mistakes that I've seen people making, and then I can come to what you should do during the internship. The first mistake is that listen to your seniors about and take help from them about technology, about pre-reads, about post-read, how they have managed the work, but don't listen to them in terms of the data or conspiracy theories that they give. So there was a major and a tier 1 institute which Adobe goes to, and their interns used to come in huge batches. So back when I joined, the conversion rate was very high for that institute. So next year, when the next batch of interns came, the seniors told them that it's pretty chilled out, and like you can relax, and the interns, you will get the PPO, and you can have fun and things like that, and you can go for offsites. And so next year, what happened is that performance became very bad for that institute, and many of the interns were quite heartbroken that our seniors told that it's 100% guarantee, because your seniors are also just into the organization. They also don't know much. Maybe they worked harder than you, and then they're telling you, or maybe the situation then was different. So never go by these conspiracy theory. Whenever I take an induction session for interns, I tell them that you need one seat, and there's a popular question: what's the conversion rate? I tell them, you think about that there's only one seat. And out of this whole 300, only one person is going to get, because you have to get it. It's of course not fun. It's quite higher, but you then never know, because how the headcount and numbers are planned, that's beyond your scope. You can't know unless some organization disclose it in beforehand. What I know, that those plannings takes time. In how many numbers I'm going to have for 23, I cannot have it now. Maybe after a couple of months I would have it, but by that time your internship is nearly half done. Uh, so I can, even if you know me and you ask me, so Adobe is very transparent company. Whatever data that we have, we share with our UGs and interns. Like I have shared a lot of things with you in this brief conversation. So but I don't know what number is going to be there, and what number specifically is going to be there for your team. That's tougher to predict. Maybe overall number will increase, but your team number will decrease. Now, other businesses would try to hire their own interns, because if Arsh has worked for XYZ team and Ajit has worked for ABC team, and XYZ team has position and ABC team doesn't, then XYZ Arsh would get the PPO and Ajit would be in waiting list, waiting for any other team to take him up. So that's also number logistic, but I would advise that don't think about these things, because this is something that's external to what you can control. You can't control it. You give your best, and that's generally works well for any product-based company. So don't listen to what others are saying in terms of that it's relaxed, because that's 2 months is all that you have. Second is that, like Arsh mentioned, you would get very fast-paced environment. You will get to know about your project probably in week one. You will have to learn the technology. You have to get the feature implemented. And organizations like Adobe have live projects, so the product development is already going through. So you can even get a chance to like file a patent, get the papers published, and do much more. So more than your projects. Do take up that opportunity. So like I think many of Adobe interns get a chance to get their patents published. So if you're taking that extra initiative or get the papers published, research folks get even manage to get that patent plus paper both. So target for skies, like don't be content that okay, my project is done, this is bare minimum. We call it meet expectations and exceed expectations. You have to exceed the expectation. So product completion is minimum that expected out of you, because you are from you have come through a large and complicated hiring process. You are among the chosen few, so it's expected that you will complete the project. But what else that you can do would create an impression among your manager. Another mistake that people often do is that during that time, they if they are clueless about something, maybe if their mentor is not good, their manager is not good, or they're not getting project clarity, they think it's end of the world, and they take a lie back approach, and they think let it be, I can't do much. But reach out to people who are stakeholder for internship program, because internship works as a program. At least for Adobe, I can mention, if you are coming to Adobe or similar organization, meet someone who is handling the internship program, share that thought with them. You never know, maybe your projects can get changed, maybe your mentor would be changed, maybe you'll get better project. Don't keep inside you and wait for a negative feedback because of something that's external to you happened. You raise that voice that something has not worked for us. And I recently had like last year I had a pretty bad conversation with one of the interns, and bad because I felt really bad for him. Is that he mentioned by the end of the internship, when he went to the college, that I was not able to finish my internship or project because my mentor was not available. I told him that you should have said it once. Even you could have made it before that. Once feedback is in, I can't do anything. I could have fought for you if you have told me like before midterm review that I'm not getting attention, I'm not getting attention or time from my mentor. we could have done much, but at this point we can't do that. Like with examination results, no matter if once examination is done, even profs can help you because that's done in the state. So take the attitude. Don't be. I know for interns, it's first time they're entering corporate world. Some of them are a bit shy, hesitant, and don't raise that. But you leave that habit inside the college. Here in the corporate, like there's no hierarchy at the majority of organizations. If you feel like you are not getting the justice, because you also expect a good experience from the internship, not just PPO. So be aware of your rights. You are among the talented few who got there. Be aware of what you deserve and ask for that if that's not happening. And don't miss this chance. That's because if at the end of the day there is going to be a PPO. There are going to be some people who are not getting PPO. So don't take it lightly. And rest is like, I think rest is pretty clear.
So we've talked about internship and how to get that internship and finally grab that PPO. Now coming up on to a very important question, like sometimes what we see is the HR round. The student clears his tech interviews, round 1, round 2, and so many rounds, and he finally lands up in that HR rounds, and he severely commits a mistake that, like, I have seen people who have been rejected in HR rounds. Some of my friends, like, they cleared all the technical rounds, and I believe that they were very good at those, and finally they did something wrong, or those mistakes in HR round. There are some tricky questions like that ask you what are your weaknesses. So like, how to handle these type of HR questions, or what would be your advice for somebody like is a college student who doesn't have much, who is giving probably his first interview? So how to handle that HR interview, those tricky questions, and how to finally clear that particular round?
Okay, so I would say that they're not actually tricky questions, because I know some of the organizations use that as a tricky question. So, but majority of our organizations don't use it as a trick question. Basically, they are actually interested in knowing you better, because there are multiple things that can happen because you are rejected in HR round. Which also includes maybe you are overqualified for that job. So there has been some occurrences because HRs have like huge history. If you are coming from XYZ college and I have a position, I know that XYZ college student have declined in the future. They were not that happy about that. And your personality, I would find that you are also interested in other domains rather than this one. And then maybe I will not take you for this domain because you would get frustrated. After 6 months, you will start asking for internal mobility and how you can change teams and things like that. No one actually wants to do that. While it's appreciated, of course, it's encouraged. But once you're joining, you should be okay with the role that you are joining for. So that can be one reason. So it doesn't have to be negative in every case that maybe you got rejected in HR round. Maybe it's for good because they know about the profile way better than you do. So maybe they would not find you a perfect fit for that role. Second reason is that in certain cases, like you commit a silly mistake, which maybe comes from something that is not under your control. So it was not in HR round, but I remember during my first or second year in the university team, I visited one of the colleges back in Chennai. So there was a candidate who asked a interviewer, not a HR, that what's your age and how many. The candidate's intention was that the interviewer looked young, and candidate wanted to ask how many years it takes me to become interviewer. If the candidate would have phrased like that, it would have been appreciated. But the candidate asked the age. Luckily, I know this whole story because the candidate asked me the same question, and I asked back, why you are asking that? So the candidate said that I am very much interested in taking interviews and I wanted to be an interviewer. So I wanted to check how many years it takes. So I was able to save that candidate, but that interviewer was not happy. So in the selection meeting that we have, the interviewer said that there was behavior issue and the candidate asked for age and things like that. So uh, uh, maybe be cognizant of these silly things. I know this sounds very silly and maybe you would let it go. But the interviewer who is sitting in front of you, like I said before also, he or she is also a human being. And be aware of what you are communicating. It shouldn't be perceived as offensive to anyone. So that's some fundamental thing. One of the another thing that I find very elimination part in HR round is that maybe you don't know about the role so much. Maybe you're just doing it for a couple of years and then you have some other aspirations. And some in some of the behavioral questions that comes out. For example, like if I have a position in research and I see that you wants to be a manager and you are better fit as a product manager. And maybe in 2 years you are going to realize that yourself and you don't like coding and you would probably go for MBA and you become a product manager. But maybe someone has seen that in you that you are not a fit. I would not say that you fake it because that's you. But if like that's not completely representing yourself, your communication are not representing yourself, then probably you should correct that behavior, because you can be the best coder, but I can get an impression that you are not interested in talking about that much. So show some passion about the job. Another thing that I find it's not an elimination criteria, but it's a brownie point for you. Do some organization research. Read about the organization, read about the culture, read about go to the news tab and see what the organizations has done in the recent past. Find something like many of the people have asked me during the HR round. I don't ask the normal questions. So I ask a lot about other stuff. So I generally start with the okay, you ask me any question, and many of the question people have asked me that we have heard a lot about Adobe culture. It's a great place to work. Can you tell about the culture? Then I ask them, what have you heard about Adobe? Can you tell me like three good things that you have found read about Adobe recently? Nobody is able to respond to that. To be very fair, I think 80 to 90% of candidates are not able to respond to that. So I think if you are and that's a trap, that's really a trap, because you have
Said something,
made that trap for yourself, because you have talked about culture and because you have heard this term in Glassdoor or something, but you don't know about much about that. That shows that you are not actually interested in organization. You have just reached here because it's a campus placement and you have to be somewhere. So like that can be a elimination basis for someone.
right? So you've talked about like you visited a lot of colleges during your journey. So like can we see going back recruiters coming back to campuses anytime soon, or the offline hiring process is going to start sometime soon, or have they been more comfortable in this online process, sitting at their homes taking interviews or scheduling things? So what has been your experience, and how would you say that the things would look like in future?
So I can see three things happening, because our team is very new. Adobe has done a lot of hiring in recent after COVID, especially. Our team has increased like literally 3 times what it was before COVID. Many people are new; they haven't been to campus. They have just graduated. They have done their MBAs and they are in the team. And when we tell them stories about our travels, and there was a time when for 2 months I was not able to come to base office because I was traveling continuously from airports to airports. that was a crazy time. And when we tell those stories, they are very excited. So recruiters are excited to come back to the campus. It's really a great environment. And when we see them in their zone, of course, couple of things I don't like about the campus recruitment is that people are quite pressed up. They haven't slept for 2 days, 3 days. So they are not able to perform their best in the campus interviews, which online interviews are better able to handle because slots are a bit flexible and better managed. But being in the campus, those pre-placement talks, those questions, and even identifying people, even the pre-placement talks based on their questions, that's the part that online process cannot replace. But another thing is that assessment test, many of the interviewers and HR folk have started losing trust on the assessments because assessments are not proctored, and there are a lot of cheats now available. So the trust on the assessments has gone for a toss. So a lot of primary rounds are conducted so that people are screened further. So that part, we see that with this COVID restrictions and COVID finally gone, we'll see it coming back where the campus would conduct the test, and we can safely trust the test, and we can do the first round for more candidates, because after COVID we have seen that the selection rate has dropped a lot in terms of the people who are clearing the assessment test. And that's also advice, like I know it's very lucrative to cheat in the assessment test, but if you are not at all prepared and you cheat on the assessment test, then you are only making it difficult for your batchmates to get into. You are not helping it, because you are definitely going to be rejected in first round, but some of your batchmates would not get interview opportunity, and overall number of hires from that campus would decrease. That's the only thing that's going to happen. That happens. We have seen that. So we are working a lot on getting the proctors, even in the online medium, and we are talking to a lot of folks. GMAT and TOEFL organizations like that are doing great work. So we are also learning from them, because when the COVID happened, we were also not prepared. And the first priority was like employee safety. So people think that HR is just recruitment, but like I last year I was in the crisis management team, so entire vaccination tie-ups with the hospitals, and a lot of things happened at the back end to make that possible. So recruitment went to the back end. Nobody was interested in getting a cheating proof test because lives were at stake. So priorities were changed. So that went past by, but now you can expect that those priorities would shuffle back to normal. And tests are going to be tougher because organizations are facing a lot of issues in assessing people. And like I told Arsh in the beginning, and you guys, like there's a huge volume of candidates, so we'll have to come up with a better way so that the better prepared candidates are not suffering because we don't have the tools to get them to the interview table.
Again, that was very helpful. Like hopefully the campus life has been back, but let's see from the next season if we can see recruiters coming back and hiring from campuses. Like coming up onto a very like I would say debatable topic, like whenever, like we do have our own communities and sometimes people fight upon these topics. So there's something known as diversity hiring. So from a recruiter standpoint, if I talk about diversity hiring, so this, like for us as individuals, like we can't do anything. Like let's say I am helping people with opportunities, I'm helping people with things, but people do raise questions. People put out posts on LinkedIn against diversity hiring. This is wrong, that is wrong, this is right, that is right, and there's a general tussle between both the groups. So from your standpoint, like what should be considered in this case? Like what is right, what is wrong, and what's your perspective when it comes to diversity hiring of candidates?
I think there is an opportunity with HR of all the major organizations to not let this issue become controversial. So like you said, it's a controversial right now. It shouldn't be, because like it should be like better planned. I would say for all the organization, they should plan it better. They can communicate it better, because one of the crux of the change, this is a change, this is a huge change. And like, trust me, even the people who are opposing it, once they become leader, they will realize, because whenever these things like that happen, uh, it comes from business, it doesn't come from HR. And I have seen it firsthand, that it comes from a business requirement, why something like that happened. So maybe something wasn't working in the initial place, that there was a requirement of this particular initiative. So I think at the personal level, as a candidate, you have to understand that there were some reasons due to this all initiatives started. Second is that I think when we talk about diversity hiring, we generalize it to one section. Like, I think, like I said, a person, irrespective of his ethnicity or religion or gender, if a person is economically backward, coming from economically backward class, he is a diversity. If a engineer wants to be an HR, he's a diversity. If a HR wants to be a software developer, he or she is a diversity. So and they really bring some good points that normal people don't think about, because they are so used to a particular set of thinking. So I can just give you an example. Like, when I talk about Adobe, it's just a company, a MNC. For majority of us who are look Adobe for a job, but I am an amateur photographer, so I take a lot of wildlife photography tips. When I talk to a photographer, if you see the brightness in his eyes when you tell him that I work for Adobe, and that, wow. And then you see, getting a photographer to a development table, how much it can help. So he is also diversity. Like, maybe he's not a coder, he's not, don't even have a BTech, but he's bringing a diverse thought that your 100 coders can't think about, because they haven't used that product in the field. Like, when you go to these, like, recently I have completed one wildlife photography trip, and I was in Panch, Madhya Pradesh, and we were chasing a tiger, and I had my laptop. I used to like, store it and edit it then and there, and then in the evening we used to have the briefing sessions. And then I have seen that how what makes me use Adobe Bridge. And I have never used Adobe Bridge. I would not have used in Delhi or Mumbai, but there I was like shuffling between files, and Adobe Bridge was helping me. So that kind of perspective you get from the diversity. So first of all, I think, and I would not blame candidates, because change management is the onus of people who initiates the change. So organizations would have to take this ownership. Uh, they can't antagonize the candidates. I know a organization, and when I was in campus, I was feeling the same thing that you guys feel, that that this is not good, and this is not, like, not everyone, some of them can think from other perspective, but I can understand that it's like, all of us think from our perspective, and wow, how it's taking my position. But a couple of things that you can help understand is that it had some origin. Maybe you can, once you are in the organization, first of all, you have to trust that this process is not taking any thing from out of your hands. Because, like, if I talk from the data, Arsh, like, I've seen a couple of posts that Adobe is doing that, or XYZ organization is doing that, and that's the reason I am not getting opportunity. It's not that. Like, I have data. Adobe never used to hire more men than it is hiring right now. So whatever, if we're talking about men versus women hiring, the numbers are still higher on the men side. Okay, maybe there are some specific positions or some specific events that's planned, and there are reasons for that. Why we have such a low percentage in the universities? So there's a reason for that. Maybe you'll say that okay, Adobe or any other organization shouldn't try to correct the society, or they should do their own job. But that's, like I said, it's part of their job. uh, because if there is something wrong at the society level, and I would not say that it's men versus women only. Tomorrow there can be 20 positions that can be for physically disabled people, and there is a government of India act around that, and there's so less work done for around that, so that can be one of the diversity. And if you think that why I'm not invited for that special event that was opened only for those people, then you are just extrapolating things, because it's not, you were not in the picture when that event was planned. That was specifically planned. There was special training and there was special roles open for them. There was entire new JD that was created for them, and then those open positions opened up. So a lot of times we extrapolate, because we think that if there are 500 positions and next year there are 700 positions, then I should be able to apply all for 700 positions. But those 200 positions were kept open just for that cause, because organizations have their own benefit in making a diverse environment, and university is the best place to do, Arsh. Like if you don't have the MTS who is a woman, you can't have a CEO who's a woman. Like it's quite common, and how many CEOs are women? Like if you do that calculation, you see that we are doing something wrong inherently, because of different reasons. Not we, I would say, because of different reasons, something is not happening how it should happen. And that's the reason, that's how we are planning it. Once you get into the leadership level, you would also realize the importance of this, and maybe you are able to do it better than what the earlier people are doing, because like I started with that, we can communicate better. That I think in our college presentation, we shouldn't be ashamed of talking about diversity. I think now what has happened, it has become so controversial that people don't speak about. Either they don't speak about that, or they do it like it happens and we don't defend it. But I think one of the things that you should also do is to address the batch about why we are doing it and how we are doing it and how we can do better. Like I am open for suggestion. Like I always ask like you said, my HR rounds are quite interesting, and I always ask that do you have any, like you are you, if you are not in support of this initiative, do you have any other idea that you can share with me? And if you have any other idea, do tell me. I will take it to higher ups that we should do it this way. One of the things that we are thinking of doing is that we are thinking of spending more investment at the initial levels, like before people even start their colleges, so that there's parity at that level only. And then they wouldn't, in the perfect world, we will not need these initiatives. We can just do a plain campus hiring, and we will have the diverse crowd, because there's a equal opportunity for everyone. But like even Constitution of India, like in, I think in Article 14 says that, if I'm not mistaken, it's Article 14, that equality of opportunity can be granted, and there can be different concessions for special class that can be given in case they haven't got it in the past. So like we are all ears. If you have a better suggestions, let's debate on it. Let's have a good productive session on that, because no one can work alone. If any particular crowd is antagonistic to the idea, I think we have failed both the sections. For the people who are working for the people who are against, it's not going to help anyone. So I think this is a big task for HRs and leaders, business leaders, to convince people to get the best ideas and to convince people that it's a right change to do. So it's a tough job, but share that ideas once you are in the organization, or you can reach me on LinkedIn if you have better ideas. So we can also discuss on that.
So this has been a matter of debate. Like what I feel is, let's say every big organization or every big MNC has come up with their separate program, particularly for diversity hiring, right? Let's say they have, and when I talk about fresher hiring, so these programs are for every company. If you talk about, let's say, some companies organizing a hackathon, somebody's organizing a coding competition, somebody, and like, and the same set of people, they're getting multiple opportunities. Let's say, in even if we talk about the diverse section, so from them also there is a separate section who is very aware, who has done everything, and they have had, let's say, 3 to 5 similar offers in the same category, and at the end she's going, the person is going to reject the other offers, and she's eventually going to accept one. And at that time the organization will feel that they have these many positions left, and like the opportunity is also missed. And so this is what, from here the problem arises, the debate starts from here, and then people go on for long to discuss about this, and the things go like that. So this is something that needs a solution upon, or maybe can be worked around on how these things can be tackled. Like, you also might face this multiple times. Let's say you have hired 100 people, and at the end 30 to 35 refuse your offer. So that happens with a lot of organizations, and that's the kind of a problem that needs a solution.
Definitely. And I think one of the key area is to not take the shorter route, because like if you just go by one parameter and one and only, and then would not be able to reach the people who can be benefited by that. So if you're thinking about, for example, you mentioned about gender. So there can't be just unilateral view to look only at gender. You have to see where we should reach out to in terms of benefiting the gender which has been not getting the opportunities because of the reason of gender. Because there are many women who are not even allowed to move out of their hometown because their parents think that it's safer out there. Like, they're not even to join prestigious colleges like IIT and IIITs because it's far away from their hometown. They are only allowed to study in their hometowns. So maybe to reach out to that crowd. But like I said, once you think about the practical aspects, it becomes difficult to implement. And step by step, like we are correcting that. Like you mentioned about multiple opportunities. There's a duplication of candidates that happens, and they are not segregated. There is no cool off period in university, because for university, assumed that everybody would only get a chance once. But if you're doing event, campus, then hackathon, then that person is getting 3 chances through different mediums. So that's a good point. And we are working on that, like reputation of opportunities for that part, controlling the duplicacy. And like I said, Arsh, like in terms of the tools, especially someone working in HR tech space, they should take this pointers. In terms of the tools, basic features like duplication check is not working perfectly. So we are very backward. So I cannot trust on XYZ tool to tell me that the same person has taken test, because the same person changes their duplication check is like A's name and B's email ID and phone number, and you change those things, you can be a new candidate. So we are, like I said, we are ages, eons back in terms of tech. We need these things to be sorted through tech, so that organizations would be ready to accept these changes if the technology would be there to support.
Great. Like, I would also look forward to if we can have better suggestions from the community. I would definitely convey it to you. Coming on to a very interesting question. You talked about, like, you did your graduation in biochemistry, then you moved on to Auxiliary for your MBA, and you are here employer branding specialist and university relations handling for around 3-4 years across. So like, you didn't thought of like you would be in this space. So if not a recruitment, so what else would we could see Ajit as?
So I am the person who don't hesitate to change careers. So I always joke about that, that people change jobs and I change the careers. So and good that you asked. So I recently made a good transition. So, like I said, I was always interested in biology, but I wasn't getting an opportunity to how to proceed. When I joined Adobe, I started hiring for research, but then I became interested in research because I felt that research is my calling. And we talk about diversity and opportunity, but the thing is that even as a HR, I was not able to find a way how without BTech I can join
Research.
research. And there's no way because there are rules that's been made, and you have to go through that process. But that hasn't impacted me. I started working, and I became research associated at IIIT Delhi, and I started working with their computational biology team. And once I started that learning, I became quite interested as I went. Then I started applying to masters and PhD programs. So recently I got into CMU computational biology department. So probably I will be making a career transition. And like I was saying, probably this is my last year as a recruiter. So yeah, so but like I said, I always think about not what I could have done, what I can do, and there's always scope for doing what you want to do. And like people used to ask me like I have such a good brand name of MBA, and why I'm letting that go to pursue something. But like I said, it's like sometimes you get an opportunity quite late because you don't find a straight path to that. But I am quite I have quite a appreciation for XLRI. I think it was a good opportunity for me to get into Adobe and then meet such a fine set of people where discussions and debate become so interesting. And when we talk about uh, in lab, and I come from biology perspective, and there's somebody talking about marketing, and then we try to find the analogy between marketing and the biology, and then we work on some paper that becomes very interesting set of conversation. So like I think that uh, my next stop is there, and hopefully more to come. So but yeah, I would not trade it for anything else. It was a journey that I loved. I love being in universities. I love the university programs, to talk to so many people and do something around that. Like I said, like I talked about Adobe Career Academy, to bring it to tier two, tier three colleges community. It was a real time problem. You have mentioned about people so vocal about diversity because they were not getting opportunity. So last year we relaunched Emerge, so that it's gender agnostic, where anyone who's not where Adobe is not visiting in the campus. Many colleges were included so that they can apply and they can try for Adobe. In the similar manner, one of our diversity events are planned so that nobody can say that we haven't got an opportunity at Adobe. But like I said, we are very small organization. If we talk about India level, we cannot currently at this stage, we are hiring around 300 grads. Next year is going to be 450 or 500 because our numbers are increasing exponentially. But even at that stage, we would not be able to reach everyone because, like I said, we have huge number of applications even with this volume, and we are only reaching out to 250 colleges. So there's a lot to be done, a lot to reach out to, and I can understand that if we don't get the opportunity, we will feel discontented. But for all of you, I would say that be patient. Maybe Adobe is not the first step in your career. Maybe it can be second or third step, but it should not demotivate you, because if you really want to be in Adobe, keep working on your profile, keep following up the word, you will get there, because I am a strong believer of aspirations. If you really aspire, because that has worked for me, if you really aspire for something, you will get there. And like I said, uh, if you have faced a problem, try to solve it once you get into the organization. And like I have mentioned, Arsh, I have like all the close friends in development. When I joined Adobe, I used to sit a lot with the developers because I became interested in coding. I was not an engineer, and I started with Python, and I had a lot of questions. And then even configuring virtual machines were tricky for me, so I used to take a lot of help from developers. And I used to ask them to solve the problem, HR problem for me. But don't wait for Ajit to or someone to come up for you. You are the ground zero of the recruitment. You have seen everything as a developer, as a candidate, as an interviewer, and as a probably in the future you'll become hiring manager. So you have seen everything. You can create a better HR. I would say that there's a lot of scope to improve on everything that we are about diversity hiring, about communicating to the candidates better, and about making the whole process smooth and a good experience for you. Like at Adobe, we talk about making experience better for everyone. So, and I would say there's a lot of scope to improve upon. So, take the onus on yourself, come up with the suggestions, make the changes wherever you go. And it doesn't have to be an Adobe. We are so connected that one organization, if they do one good thing, others would start following it very quickly within the month's time. So just lead it wherever you go, and you will see the change for the next batches. And it's going to be very quick.
True. Thank you so much, Ajit, for this great conversation, and congratulations for your new journey that you're going to pursue really very soon. And wishing you all the best for that as well. Thank you so much once again for coming here. We conclude this conversation here. I hope this will add a lot of value to my audience. They'll have their questions answered that they gave me. Thank you so much once again.
Thanks a lot, Ash, and thank you everyone for listening.